Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the Frigidaire Refrigerator Adjustable Hinge Kit. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get a set of black cams, white cams, the instructions, and 2 adjustable hinges. The adjustable hinge kit is used to replace the standard hinges that support both the freezer and the fresh food door. The main reason you'd be changing them out is if the cams are so worn out that the pin is damaged and you can't use it, or the doors are uneven and you need to adjust them. If your doors are uneven like this is what the adjustable hinge kit is for. At the end of the video, we'll show you how to adjust it and make them even. In order to install the adjustable hinge kit, we have to remove both doors one at a time. Before you remove them, you want to make sure you remove everything from the shelves to make it easier to move around. To get the top hinge off, we have to remove the cover. It's held down by one Phillips screw, so we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver to take it out. Once you have the screw removed, we can slide the cover forward so we expose the hinge. Once you have it off, we can take a 3/8" socket with a ratchet and remove the 2 screws that hold the hinge on. Once you have both screws off, you can lift the hinge off and set it aside. Once you have the hinge off the door, you want to hold the door against the frame a little bit so it doesn't move while we go down and lift it off the lower hinge. Now we're going to lift the fresh food door off so we can change the cam. You want to make sure you have a towel ready so you can lay it on it so it doesn't get scratched. Now that we have the door laying on the table, we have access to the cam. There's a couple little tabs going around the cam that you can put a small screwdriver underneath to pop it out of the door. Should come out fairly easy. Once you have it out, you can set it aside. To put the new cam in, we're going to remove this screw with a 1/4" nut driver. Once you have that screw out, you can set it aside. The new cam is a little bit deeper than the old one, so it doesn't go all the way up into the door because of the foam. So what you're going to have to do is take a small flathead screwdriver and dig some of this foam out so it goes a little bit deeper and sits flush with the door stop. Once you have enough of the foam cleaned out, you can carefully line the new cam up into the opening. And you want to make sure it bottoms out all the way with the door stop. Once you have it in place, we can use our 1/4" nut driver to put the screw back in to hold it in place. Now we can take off the fresh food hinge. In order to do that, we have to open up the freezer door and take the grill off. To get the grill off, we're just going to grab it on one side and release the tabs and pull it off the refrigerator. Once you have it off, you can set it aside. To get the lower hinge off, we have to remove these 3 bolts. We're going to use a 3/8" socket with an extension. Once you have the bottom bolt loose, we can just lift the hinge off and set it aside. Now that we have the hinge out of the way, we can just take this last bolt out. Now we can put the new lower fresh food hinge on. There's a little tab down here. You can see if I turn the hinge, that's going to go in the hole that the bolt used to go in, and then we're only going to put 2 bolts in the upper holes. So once you have it lined up, you can start one of the bolts. Once you have it started, we can grab the socket and the wrench and tighten it down. Before you tighten this side all the way down, you want to leave it loose a little bit so it's easier to line up the other bolt. Once you have both bolts tightened down, we can put the cam onto the hinge. The new style cam doesn't have a screw in it like the old one. It just slips onto this pin and pushes down over the hinge pin. We're going to use some Sil-Glyde on the cam. You don't have to put a lot, just a little bit to help it ride smoother. Once you have your lubricant on the cam, we can carefully carry the fresh food door over and set it onto the hinge pin. All you have to do is line up the hole with the pin and set it down. Once you have the door on the hinge, we can swing it over and let the gasket rest against the cavity. And then we can go up top and put the top hinge on. As you're coming around to put the hinge on, you want to make sure you hold the door so it doesn't fall. And to put the hinge on, all we have to do is put the pin in and push it down and then line up the two screw holes. Once you have them lined up, we can use the 3/8" socket to put them in. Once you have them both started, we can tighten them down. Once you have the screws tightened down, we can put the cover on. All you have to do is put it forward a little bit of the hinge and then slide it back so these clips hook underneath. Once you have it in place, we can use our Phillips screwdriver to put the screw in. Now that we have the fresh food door reinstalled, we can do the freezer door. Before we take the upper hinge off, we have to disconnect this water line. So we're going to lay a towel down, and then you have to grab the water line and pull it out a little bit. And we have to release this collar so the water line comes out. We're going to take a 3/8" wrench and slide it up and press on that collar. That'll release the water line. Once you have the water line disconnected, we can go up top and remove the upper hinge. Same as the fresh food side, we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver to remove the screw to take the cover off. Once you have the screw out, you can slide the hinge forward and set it aside. Once you have the hinge cover off, we can unplug the wire harness. All you have to do is pull on it. There's no tab or anything. Once you have that disconnected, we can use our 3/8" socket with the ratchet to take out the screws. Once you have the screws off, we can lift the hinge out and take the wiring harness out from the middle of it. Same as the fresh food door, you want to make sure you hold it against the cabinet while you're getting ready to take it off. Now that we have the upper hinge off, we can lift the freezer door off the lower hinge and set it on the table with a towel. As you lift it up, you have to lift it high enough so the water line clears the hinge. The freezer door cam comes off the same as the fresh food one. We're going to get behind it with a flathead screwdriver and pop it out. And once you get it out, it's going to stop, and you can rotate it and pull it out. Once you have it off, you can set it aside. To put the new cam on, we're going to slide it up the water line and push it into the door. Once it stops, we're going to turn it and then push it in the rest of the way. You want to make sure it goes flush with the door closure bracket. The new cam might be a little tighter than the old one, so you can grab a rubber mallet and tap it in so it's flush with the bracket. Now that we have the new cam in the door, we can go change the freezer hinge. To take the hinge off, we're going to use the same 3/8" socket and extension that we used on the other side. Once you have the screws out, you can take the hinge and set it aside. To put the freezer hinge on, we're going to line up the alignment pin in the lower hole and then lift it up into place, and then we can get one of the screws started. Once you have it started, we can use the socket to almost tighten it down. Once you have it almost tightened down, we can put in the other screw and tighten it down. Now that we have the screws tightened down, we can put the cam on. All you have to do is set it down onto the hinge pin and then make sure that this pin goes through the hole. Once you have it in place, we can put some lubricant on it. Now that we have the lower hinge installed, we can put the freezer door back on. To put the freezer door on, we're going to carefully line it up. You have to make sure the water line goes through the hinge. So if you need to, you can get somebody to help you and line it up. Otherwise, you can just look down and make sure the water line goes through the hinge. You may have to use your foot and push on the water line so the door sits all the way down. If you have somebody that can help you, they can do it for you. Once you have the door mounted on the hinge, we can swing it over and hold it in place so we can put the upper hinge on. To put the upper hinge on, we're going to feed the wiring harness through the opening and then feed the hinge down into the door bushing. Once you have it in place, we can line up the screw holes, put the screws in. Once you have the screw started, then we can use our 3/8" socket and ratchet to tighten them down. With the screws tightened down, we can reconnect the wiring harness. There's a little tab right here on the plug and a little notch it has to go into. All you have to do is line it up and plug it in. Once you have it in place, we can put the cover back on and use our Phillips screwdriver to tighten down the screw. Same as the other side, you want to have it forward a little bit and then slide it back. Here's the old hinges and cams next to the new adjustable hinge kit. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. They did redesign this kit and made the hinges adjustable, so you have a little nut to adjust them up and down. They also redesigned the cams. They give you 2 sets, black or white, depending upon the color of your refrigerator. Now that we have the freezer door mounted, and before you put the water line and the kick plate back on, we have to adjust the hinges. You can look at the top of your door and see if they need to go up or down. In our case, the refrigerator door needs to go up a little bit. But if you need to do the freezer door, you're going to grab a 12mm wrench and slide it over the water line. And then you can get it up here on the hinge pin and raise it up or down as necessary. Once you have it adjusted as necessary, then you can take the wrench off the water line and we can reconnect it to the quick union. All you have to do is grab the water union and plug it together. It should bottom out all the way and lock into place. Once you have it in there, we can go adjust the fresh food side. On the fresh food side, we're going to use a 7/16" wrench and raise it up. If you want, you can have somebody up at the top of the 2 doors to tell you when to stop when they're even. Otherwise, you're going to have to step up there and check every once in a while. Now that we have the doors adjusted properly, you can see that they're even. Once you have both hinges adjusted and the doors are even, we can open up both doors and put the grill back on. Now that we have the doors open, we can put the grill on. We're going to make sure that we put these lower tabs onto the bar down here and then rotate it up and snap the upper tabs in. Once you have the grill snapped back in place, we can close both the doors, plug the refrigerator back in, and make sure it starts to cool. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by appliancepartspros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.